Hello, I'm back. I really hate when that happens, to have to break up a presentation to recover my train of thought and get right back into it. But here again, that's what we're going to do here today. Perhaps Mama Nebthet set it up that way for reasons only she knows. I've learned to trust her guidance. Even in the music, in some of my slideshow presentations that were set to music, she always made her presence and her message known. And she used to say, and I believe it's balance shall be restored, or neither that one or me and Mama Nebthet. She would say, all that you lost shall be regained. All that you've lost shall be regained. And that used to give me a little burst of energy, because I've been dealing with post-HIV stigma for 24 years, and it has been figurative and literal pain in the ass. But it's all because we are becoming the cosmic elite. And that's where I left off. Bobby Hemmett, the becoming of the cosmic elite, part 2. Now, before I delve deeper into that, I just want to go down my list here today. And I want to recall, as a middle school teacher, somehow I came across a book called Black Caesar. And every day I would read pages of the book. And it was one of the only true times in all of my teaching years, wherever I was, where I read a story and everybody in the room got silent. You know why? Because that book was about Black Caesar. Even back then, I was not aware of us emerging out of Kemet and all the things we did to civilize this world. Well, this book was called Black Caesar, and he was a Moor and he was a pirate. And it told about his adventures on the high seas. We were a seafaring people. In fact, that's how we got to be all around this planet. But Black Caesar, and the children would listen. They were excited. Unlike when you try to teach any history lesson, science lesson, any other thing on the curriculum. Because our children are older souls. They know that all that is bullshit. And they tune it out. And they're no longer interested in that kind of thing. But anyway, Black Caesar. Black Caesar. Let that soak in. But anyway, I want to move right on. I want to talk about internal combustion. That's the next thing on my list. I've already educated about kriyas and jerking body movements as the body attempts to assimilate Kundalini energies. Again, if we're not responsible in that energy, we will be consumed by it. Otherwise, we'll be accentuated by it. That's also in the book. There is no HIV, a book of scholarship and bibliography. If you haven't gotten it yet, I'd like to ask you to please do that. To show respect to me and to all the authors in it and to the spirit that led me to it to bring it to you. It is a lifetime resource. Now back to what I was saying about internal combustion. I had meant to pull up the pictures of what it looks like to be sitting in a chair or lying in bed and then to just explode from the inside, because the body can't handle the rising Kundalini energy. This is what I believe white people are in such fear of us about. And, I don't know how, I don't want to judge any of that. All I know is that it does happen. And that as a person whose Kundalini is awakened, I have, as a stubborn person, been forced to make changes in my diet, in my consciousness, in drinking water, and learning all that I can every day. It is the focus of everything that I do every day. Learning about who I am and about this energy that has reawakened. The great divine mother having lain dormant in the spine, coming back in. So please check out that part 1 that I spoke about in part 1. I'll see that again. Order my book, Show Respect. And then continue to study this presentation as I move along, understanding internal combustion, a very real phenomenon. Erykah Badu, in I believe her famous album, Healer, she had a great career, except for that one song she did about Tyrone. I never really liked that. But in her song Healer, she spoke about blue flame scientists come out with your scales up. And I used to wonder, what is that? Well, now we know that blue flame is the Kundalini fire. It is hotter, 4 times hotter than fire. And she was talking about the scientists, us, whose Kundalini awakening has happened, coming out with our scales up, balance, mayat, restoring balance and mayat to this planet, or whatever dimension we're going to experience the new reality on. And so I love Erykah Badu. I want to thank her for all she has done. Blue flame scientists, come out with your scales up. We are those scientists. Next thing on my list, white supremacy. Such a ridiculous and mentally ill notion for the mutants on this planet to have inserted themselves into, to think for any instant that they are supreme to anything or anybody, because we know clearly that they are not. They are the reason that this planet has descended into the hell that it is. And I won't even go into all that because I've done so many presentations about all of that. But, all these people, I feel, in religion are victims of that. Oh, I just thought of a movie I saw the other day. It's about this little small town in South Carolina. And it shows, I wish I could think of the name of it, I hope it comes to me later, but it shows how the lower demiurge entities take over these pastors and crazy people in the counties, cities, suburbs, wherever else, government, and overcome them with this bullshit morality and religion. And so black people, having come out of slavery and forgotten almost totally who we are under that influence. And I feel very sad that they have not yet come out. However, we do know that we are the chosen ones, the fallen ones, and we are here they are here rather to serve as decoys while we get done what needs to be done on this planet, which has descended into decay of every type, and it is painful to deal with that. All right, next thing on the list, another movie, something about a literary club and the potato peel pie. Very odd title, but it's on Netflix. It's all about the Jews during the World War, and how here again we got Jews playing the victim. Not that what they endured wasn't horrific, but here we see the movies trying to bring up that old energy when we know who's at the root of all black problems, particularly bogus HIV, the civil rights movement. We know who that is, and they are not so much victims as perpetrators. Let's be clear about that. Next thing on my list, The Beyond. I mentioned this briefly in a presentation the other day. The Beyond. What white people do is they create this consciousness of something being out there. Now you think if they were so smart, they would know that out there is nothing but a holographic illusion. But then through NASA, which is a leading propaganda organization, they try to purport themselves as capable of building technology to be reaching out into the stratosphere, or beyond the stratosphere. This movie, The Beyond, check it out. It's very good. You can see all elements of white supremacy trying to take effect, which it never will be able to do because those beings are carbon-based, not carbon beings. They are not melanin beings. But in this movie, the black holes is how it was depicted in the movie, took over the entire Earth, and they created a transhuman, which is to remove a human brain from a human and insert it into this robotic figure and send that figure into that black hole to see what was there. Now, when you watch that, if you've ever had out-of-body experiences where you've traveled through that tunnel, I wrote about mine in that book, and all the things that you see, their presentation in this movie, The Beyond, was very much like that. In the movie The Beyond, the first person they took through was a paraplegic guy, whatever you call it when you can only move your upper extremities. But he supposedly died. But then they realized that they didn't need to send humans. They need to send this transhuman thing. So it happened to be a female's brain that was used. And in it, the depiction was that she did not survive. Although by the end of the movie, she came back and described what she had seen. And just like in the event Horizon, they were depicting how white people are aware that they cannot make it into other dimensions. All parts of who we really are. We were all that before we even descended into physicality here in Earth hell. And so that's where we're going back to. Now, the coming of the cosmic elite. Bobby Hemming, I love you so much for all you've done for us. Thank you. He has shown how in these movies, the alien, this creature, and many other movies, he's taught us how to decode these movies. And the coming of the cosmic elite, he has detailed many things about our body. Thank you for being patient. I want to get back on track here. Because of our DNA, and also learning about how the ancient commitments were always focused on the underworld, not returning to this illusion, mummifying the body, and we learned that they even cloned bodies. We learned all about Heru. I'm going to move around and show you him. Heru. And that falcon head, which brings me to something I really wanted to talk about. I think I wrote about it too in the book, about an out-of-body experience when I was living in the high-rise. And I emerged back in my body, but just before entering my body, a flash of Heru in that big window, coming back and landing inside me. That stuck with me. And Bobby Hemming explains the bird tribe. If you haven't read Barbara Marciniak's Bird Tribe, Return of the Bird Tribe, Bobby Hemming explains Heru and why I am so fascinated with where Mama Nebthet chose for me to live, and how on the first day that I woke up here, all of my things were all over the floor. She was positioned right here. She was huge, right here in the middle of the yard, letting me know that she is here and that I have come to where I need to be. And so I love her so much. But we are the bird tribe people. Do listen to Bobby Hemming. He breaks that down to a DNA level. This is what is activating in us. This is why we are under attack in every way in the medical establishment. They have machines who they can see who we are. And so still, you have to be very careful anytime you submit yourself to anybody in a white coat. Even black people in white coats, because they work for white coats. And so they are under their influence. And they're not aware of who they are even. Yet they think of themselves as smart people. We now know differently. So we have to guard against and protect ourselves our consciousness against these kinds of people. Now, there's no question about it that Kundalini awakening involves the annihilation of the ego. You get broken down to nothing, because this illusion is nothing. It is a series of events that never really happen. As real and as painful as it feels and seems, but it is still an illusion. So Kundalini relentlessly breaks that down. I wanted to say a couple of words about family. I'm so thankful that my mother was able to awaken when I would come home with books, began to share experiences. By that time, I was already in the throes of Kundalini awakening and really becoming fearful, because I knew that the way I had been raised, my family, my friends, my community I grew up in, I knew that nobody would be able to relate to that. And so that left me another level of isolation aside from bogus HIV. I knew I was going to have to get through this some kind of way, but my mother was there. Now, Bobby Hemmett teaches this too in the returning or the coming of the cosmic elite, that we, on a soul level, we chose the family to come through, to be who we are on this planet, and that might not involve other members of the nuclear or extended family. This is no statement about them or any judgment. It's just the way it is. So when you, perhaps like I have, felt abandoned by your own family, even to this day, there's a sadness about that. But those feelings can be and must be released in order to continue in your progress. Because Kundalini is relentless. And Bobby Hemmett speaks about that. Even sometimes you have to deal with your own mother. That is, if you're lucky enough to have one who's awakened like mine is. And so it has been rough because, she is a mother, but this is illusion. And there are many days when all I want to do is escape it. And I don't know how that's going to unfold. And while I feel for her, I'm beginning to care more for even myself. I've learned to love myself, and I do not love being in this nightmare. It has been horrific all of my life, and most of my adult life. And now that I know that it's illusion and all the things that we've learned and discussed and taught, I don't see the point of remaining here. But family can be a detriment to spiritual progress. We want to buy into all that we learned about that, but it doesn't pan out to be like that, especially when you're going through hell and nobody's there for you. All right, next thing on the list here. Thank you for your patience. Magical thinking. We really do have the power in our 12 strands of DNA that are coming back online to really be magical. So I practice that in healing my root chakra. I actually lie down and meditate, and I impose over my body that Kaduki is on fire with the wings at the top, as if that is me right there. And I go into that area in my anal cavity and try to burn away whatever entity that is causing me severe pain. But anyway, so magical thinking is so important. What else do I have here? Profound sadness. Profound sadness, I believe, is the doorway out of here and into where we are from, where we're creating, and it's part of the suffering process. So all the people around you who did you wrong, like the ones I've talked about from North Carolina and Ghana, what I would consider some of the lowest souls on this planet, And every person who rejected me because of sex and sexuality and being a black man that was not willing to feel guilty and ashamed about that, for them, for any extended family members, any community members, anybody on this planet who has rejected me, they only made me stronger, although it has caused profound sadness when you know that you're going about your life only hoping the best for others, and all they're thinking about is themselves and how they can vampire your energy. This is part of the process of getting out of this nightmare earth illusion. So I've always taught to sink into and through pain and emotions, even sadness. You know, we're not here to be happy all the time. We're not here to bogus love, love, love. We are here to evolve human consciousness. And that is what we're in the process of doing. And so I'm glad to be here for another day. It has been, quite a process. And I always end up right back here in my body tracing, abiding those principles of the chakras from root to crown. All is one, honor one another. Respect yourself. Love is divine power. Surrender personal will to divine will. Seek only the truth and live in the present gift moment of awareness. Always end up back at the body tracing, abiding the principles of the chakras. I am Dr. Damien Q. Laster, author of There Is No HIV, the Rainbow Warrior, conscious doctor of metaphysical science, the science of our ancestors. We are the progenitors of culture and civilization on this nightmare planet. Have a good day. Goodbye. Be sure to go back and see part 1 if you missed it. All right? Goodbye.